What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a movie that I'm a little bit late to the game on seeing. This has been out for a few weeks now, but I've been really looking forward to watching it, and surprisingly so because I'm not normally a huge fan of legacy sequels, but I have a very soft spot for Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. I love that movie. I've revisited it a ton over the years, and it's just a comfort film to me. I love everything about it. And when the trailer was first released to this, I wasn't completely sold, but because of the really stacked cast, a lot of the returning cast members coming back, I figured I'd give it a chance. And since this movie has come out, I feel like the reviews for it are a bit all over the place. Some people seem to really love it, some people are in the middle about it, some people seem to absolutely despise it. So I wasn't 100% sure what to expect, but the movie I'm going to be discussing with you today is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is directed by Tim Burton. After a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Deetz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. So I was really excited to watch this movie, like I said, despite my hesitations with the trailer because of how much I love the original Beetlejuice. And if I had one word to describe this movie, it's fun. This movie is incredibly entertaining, and it does have a lot of flaws. And it's interesting because the critiques people have with this movie, I can understand most of them. But I think what I liked so much about this movie is for the first time in a long time, it seems like Tim Burton was legitimately enjoying himself with what he was making. There are a lot of really incredible moments of filmmaking here that feel like classic Tim Burton era. And there's obviously homage paid to the original film, and there's a lot of little like pokebacks and nods at certain things, but it's not overbearingly irritating like a lot of the other legacy sequels that I've seen. And the performances here are actually really good as well, which makes the movie very entertaining. And I'm going to break the film down a little bit for you today. This plot is kind of all over the place, and I don't want to talk too much about everything because there's spoilers in a lot of it, but the most simplistic premise is someone in the Deetz family passes away at the beginning of the movie, and it brings together Lydia, played by Winona Ryder, Delia, played by Catherine O'Hara, and Astrid, a new character introduced that is Lydia's daughter, played by Jenna Ortega. And Lydia and Astrid don't talk to each other very much. We find out early on in the film that Astrid's father has passed away, and Lydia is a paranormal investigator, and she has her own TV show, and she's going to different people's houses, and she tells everyone that she can communicate with the dead and see the dead, which puts a strain on her relationship with her daughter. But they all go back to the town from the original film and the house from the original film. Well, simultaneously, we are reintroduced to Beetlejuice, played by Michael Keaton, who is in the underworld, and his ex-wife Dolores has escaped this trap where all her body parts were put in different containers. And Dolores is played by Monica Bellucci, and all she wants is to get back with Beetlejuice. But he is eventually summoned into the real world, and through a certain set of events, Astrid opens a portal into the underworld. And so Beetlejuice comes into contact with the Deetz family once again, and the entirety of the film is trying to get Astrid out of the underworld while Beetlejuice is trying to escape the grasp of his ex-wife, and all of these stories kind of intermingling together. So like I said, I thought this movie was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And for starters, I want to talk about the performances. There's obviously a lot of heavy hitters in this movie, and there's a lot of characters from the original film that aren't incorporated. But I think the way Tim Burton handles characters not being in the film, especially one character in particular, he does it very intelligently, and it's written in a way that's whimsical and fun and entertaining, and I appreciated it. I felt like Jenna Ortega was a great addition. I think that she's just a really talented actress, and I enjoyed her role in this. Winona Ryder was excellent as always. I think that she's fantastic. The two standouts for me in particular in this film, number one, Catherine O'Hara, who I feel like was having the time of her life in this movie. She was so over the top and absurd and just everything that I love about her as an actress. She really just delivers in every single scene, and she had some of the best one-liners in the movie. Michael Keaton back in this role, it was like he never left. There's so many great moments with his character, and I just love that Tim Burton went for it again. The character is slimy and gross and says a lot of really ridiculous stuff, and he didn't pull any punches with that. And I think that's what makes the character so much fun to watch, and he was just fantastic. Willem Dafoe was also a really nice addition into this movie. I loved his character and the absurdity behind his character, and all of these actors really make the experience a very easy watch. I love the production design and the practical effects in this movie. There's a lot of attention to detail in the set design, especially in the underworld. There's a lot of time that takes place there in this movie, and I really liked it. It makes it a little bit more expansive than what we know from the original film, and I appreciated the way Tim Burton went about it, especially some of like the comical practical effects. It just brings so much personality to this world. I also love a lot of the violence in the movie. There's a couple of moments that didn't pull back on just like forward and intense violence, which I liked. There was a scene in particular towards the end of the movie that felt kind of like an homage to slasher films, like just really over the top and awesome. There's one scene in particular that I absolutely loved that was Beetlejuice having a flashback that just felt like it was looking at an entirely different era of filmmaking, and that Tim Burton was just kind of having the time of his life, adding whatever he wanted to into the movie. And it makes it really enjoyable when he just kind of goes for it and doesn't really care about how it fits into a certain scene. It's all about the absurdity of it and like the things that he loves, and breathing life into these movies with the things that he's passionate about, which is what I think makes his early work so incredibly special. And there's a lot of those moments throughout this movie. And I think this movie, what makes it work so well is its charm. I feel like the characters are so easy to invest yourself in because of how talented these actors are. I do think there's a lot about the plot structure and where the story goes that's a little bit cliche and underwhelming. The story, there's like a budding romance between Jenna Ortega's character and this young guy that goes in a direction that's not really all that surprising. There's this whole subplot with Monica Bellucci's character that just feels like even if it was completely and totally stripped from the movie, that it would be exactly the same film. And even where things go with Lydia, it's not all that surprising. But I think because of these performances and the attention to detail and the humor of the film, it makes it a really easy and fun and entertaining watch, which is all I'm really looking for with a Beetlejuice movie. Because if you look at the original film, it's not all that complicated. It's very simple and straightforward. And everything about that movie that makes it entertaining is the practical effects, Michael Keaton's great performance for the limited amount of time that he's in it, and the rest of the characters really bringing the world to life. And I think that translates over to this film very well. Obviously, it doesn't have necessarily the same level of charm that the original movie does, but I think if you're a fan of it in any facet, or if you're a fan of Tim Burton's original work, you're going to really like this movie a lot. And I'm really glad I got to see it in the theater before it went away. And I think if you get the opportunity to before it's gone, you should definitely do so as well. So have you seen Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was incredibly entertaining. Despite its flaws, it's still a really fun watch that I think is definitely worth your time seeing. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.